te da la bienvenida a la última media hora que tenemos el honor, nada más y nada menos, y vamos a regresar al inglés que hacía rato no hablábamos. We're gonna get back to English in just a second because we have an honor and privilege to have back our Gainesville Police Department.
Look at that interest.
Look, yes, look at the interest, baby. Nothing like that, nothing better than that interest. Well, we have the honor to have here with us Officer Sarah. We have Lieutenant Lisa Scott over there as well, and we have Lieutenant MJ. Yes, I love it. How you guys doing this beautiful morning?
Man, I'm doing really good this morning. It's the end of my work week. Woo, going into the weekend.
All right. And she's excited.
What about you? How are you, Sarah?
Doing good.
Good?
Doing good.
Well, we're very happy to have you guys and always grateful that you guys keep our community safe, always on the watch, and that you guys come over, to spread the word and tell all our community what they need to look after and stuff like that. So thank you.
Awesome. As you guys know, como ustedes saben, every other Thursday we're here with our GPD, Gainesville Police Department, talking about very, very important topics. And it's interesting enough that I've been wanting to talk about what we're about to talk right now for a long time. And Lieutenant Lisa Scott mentioned that this is the topic for today. And it is negotiating. All right, negotiation in different situations, and I would love to go deep into that. But let's begin by saying, what is negotiating? How negotiating looks like from the perspective of a police officer.
So we are part of our negotiation response team at the Gainesville Police Department. We have at least approximately 10 of us that are on the team. We have a commander. And then everybody else counts as a part of the team. Anybody, anytime can be called upon to negotiate. And the team is very diverse between years of experience and just life experiences. And then we train a lot. And so what we train for is being able to speak to people in different situations that we typically just consider a crisis, an everyday crisis. Like people call the police not because they're having a good day, mostly, right? You know, because they're in some sort of crisis, big or small to them, we would treat it the same. And what a negotiation pretty much is we try to establish some sort of a form of communication with that person and trying to determine, what do they need, but trying to really just listen to them. So we do a lot of what we call active listening and reflecting back to them, because a lot of times people just want to be heard. And then once they're heard, we can kind of work through some things as to, okay, well, the de-escalation starts, and we can try to figure out how to help them. And so then we have resources available that we can connect them to. And so, honestly, the beginning and the end of the negotiation is just simple as just communicating, just like we're talking right now.
Wow, that is incredible. It really grabbed me there when you said that sometimes people just want to be heard, all right? And you are reflecting back to people. This is something that we can apply, ladies and gentlemen, special announcement on our day-to-day, life, right? Reflecting back to people, and I am assuming showing validation and all this. It doesn't have to be psychology, but it's just communication skills, basically, as you were saying. Reflecting back, okay.
Which involves psychology at the same time, if you think about it.
Exactly. So let's create a scenario. Obviously, this is a fake. That is not happening, and doesn't happen. I'm just making this up right now. Let's create a scenario where someone has a hostage, have another person hostage inside, for example, a bank, okay? And this person has a weapon and it's a long, all right, a rifle, and he's a background of being violent and all of this. So how can we negotiate? Obviously, there is no shooting involved yet. How can we start negotiating with this individual that obviously is looking to accomplish his or her mission? I don't know the person, but his mission of stealing money or doing something completely illegal. Just by being there is illegal already. But how can we negotiate with this person in this situation that is so tense?
Well, first and foremost, there's a lot of intelligence that would go into that and planning and coming up with, okay, what's the plan of action? You know, who is this person? Essentially, how do we establish that communication, whether it's going to be by a phone, some form of equipment where we can get some line of communication going. You know, once that kind of starts, it just kind of unfolds from there, and just really just at that point, I'm not looking at you as a criminal. I'm looking at you as a person that's still in a crisis, even as the quote-unquote bad guy in a situation, so to speak, right? So just speaking to that person and trying to understand, okay, why are we here today? But not by asking those questions, just literally by communicating at that person's level. And then it kind of evolves from there. I mean, we'll have obviously a whole team just kind of trying to figure out, well, what are you upset about today? Mm-hmm. You know, how can we help you today? How can we get past this situation? What brought you here? You know, a lot of times people are dealing with so much stuff just from everyday life. So it's not our job to show up and judge in that moment, although we like, oh, this guy's robbing the bank. He's a bad guy. He's probably going to go to jail, right? But in that moment, we're not trying to tell him you're a bad guy. Mm-hmm. You know, we're understanding you.
That's
something's
exactly.
going on with you.
That's very
awesome.
interesting what you mentioned. You first try to make the approach to see what's going on, to see what brought me here, what brought you here, and what's the intention. Do you feel that at the beginning of the negotiation, you can kind of get an idea of the intention of that person? What's going to happen? Is this going to unfold very bad? Or it was just maybe a mental crisis and he just wanted to do this, but he's ready to leave. He's going to jail still tonight at least, but you can kind of like create an scenario of what this could happen. Do you find that at the beginning of the negotiation?
I would say, you know, you can't, it can
predict
go up and down, you know. You can be at a calm point at one point and some are yelling and screaming.
Happen something else.
And again, it's for us as the negotiators, you know, we train to be able to make sure no matter what we're doing, we're at a calm base, you know. And we're just essentially trying to get that person back down to a baseline.
Do you guys ever get trained on body language, which involve a lot in everything, you know, negotiating or trying to kind of like get a profile on someone? Do you ever?
Yeah, so we try to reflect our body language back to what they're feeling. If they're super sad, I'm obviously not going to try to be like super cheerful and be the cheerleader. We want to meet them where they're at with their body language, but we also see like part of the active listening is your body language and showing them like, yes, I'm here with you, even if it's just head nodding, and like showing with your body that you're paying attention to what they're saying. A lot of times that's hard for us at the beginning of negotiations because we do try to contact by phone or one of our devices versus in person. But if we ever have the opportunity to negotiate in person, it's a huge part of it.
Wonderful.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I understand that. I know you didn't want to say it, but you guys are undefeated. We say, right? So far, every single mission has been successful. You know, the negotiating process has been, you know, A+.
We're kind of like LeBron James.
The GOAT.
The GOAT.
I love that.
Yeah, this is our GPD. Come on. That's how we do it. So to be able to negotiate, is that something that normally any police officer or anybody part of GPD would do, or this is something that it is a specialized department to negotiate?
So we are a specialized team, and it takes a really, it's a skill set. You know, that hopefully everybody has somewhere in there with the communication, but some of us are just a little bit better than others at that skill set with communication, but we're also interested in it. Like, we want to do this. We have a desire to, you know, speak to people in their, toughest moments, you know. And then we have a lot of training where I've learned a lot. I've been in, 13 years now, but on this team, I've probably learned a lot. I've been on the team for maybe 6 years now. And every day is almost like, okay, adding something to my tool belt and communicating, or even not just from training, but from dealing with people in the community. Mm-hmm. I'm learning from them. So it's definitely a specialized team and specialized skill set.
I wanna now. I wanna hear from Lisa as well, but I have a question for you, really quick, Lieutenant MJ. You said I've been learning a lot, and you said it's been a while now since I've been training. So, what is that skill? What that specific skill that you actually said, "Wow, this changed me as a person. That I can use that skill in my own life." What is that skill?
Number one, patience. Just being patient.
My wife can pass that training with you guys.
And a lot of it is just empathizing, being able to empathize with people, understanding people, and just think, Officer Sarah said it earlier, just meeting them where they are. I think that mindset for me is, leaving someone better than I found them, whether it's just a hug, whether it's a, hey, how you doing? It's so many little things that we can leave just from what we say to people or don't say to people sometimes. And I've learned that just throughout the years. But I think deep down, we just really care. And that's what it boils down to. We care.
That's wonderful. Now that you mentioned that, have you ever been in a situation where you have been able to prevent something to happen just by communicating with the person, trying to solve the problem, and kind of like understanding them, being able to pass on the resources? Sometimes this scenario could go from the most crazy thing to someone who just called at home because his kid is not behaving. Something very simple, that you can prevent from escalating into something else.
That's literally the job. That is every day the job of a law enforcement officer.
Definitely.
Yes.
Prevent instead of kind of like going.
Yes. And I would say we, as the Gainesville Police Department, do a very good job at that each and every day. I mean, Sarah's not just our negotiation response team. She's a co-responder. Lisa is, over the co-responder team, and that's kind of just an extra resource for the department. But just every day to day in our operations and calls for service, like that's what we're doing, is preventing a situation from escalating just by talking.
Definitely.
Yeah, I wanna hear Lisa's insight about all this and your experience with the department, with the team.
Oh.
Get closer to that microphone.
Sorry.
We are rock and rolling here.
I'm not an expert at this. I'm not on the team, but I just want to say it's something that is stressed from the top down. That our police officers or anyone who works for us, you treat everyone like it's a member of your family. So, we all have that family member, maybe an uncle or aunt or something that may be in a situation, or even your own parent. We just want you to treat them how you would want your own family to be treated. So that's something that we stress. And I think that the negotiated response is just like levels up from that. So that's the basic, that's what we require working at our department. And then the negotiation response, they just take it up from there. So
that's awesome. And this escalating the situation. I remember this story. I actually, it went viral on Facebook. You will remember now really fast when the kids they were playing basketball, and they got the neighbors obviously call. I don't know why it was during the day actually, but they call on the police. They call 911, and this police officer showed up, and basically he started playing basketball with the kids. And this is funny because the kids just wanted to play for a few minutes. It's not like they were, really wild or like doing a lot of noise or who knows, but they were having some fun. And the police officer, obviously from UPDs, that happened here in Gainesville. He started playing basketball with the kids, and after a couple of minutes, you know what? The kids went to do something else. They were just kids, and they started, I don't know, like riding bicycle, doing things, and it was very interesting. Like sometimes you don't have to be. You just gotta be in the shoes of that person. Exactly what Lieutenant MJ is saying. You gotta be willing, but you gotta be willing to do it. Some people, they are not willing to do it. And you know what? I am sharing this because just yesterday, for example, we are very lucky to have our GPD here the way they are in Dominican Republic. A police officer actually by accident, but they got in a shooting, and 12 years old. Lost his life. And those situations, for example, like when the police officer came, they were playing dominoes. It wasn't nothing. Nothing was going wrong. And this officer just came randomly and started in an argument with these little kids. That the kid came in the middle, and all this happened. And there you go. Now we have an entire country in the Dominican Republic going after this officer that they don't understand how and why this happened. But you see the streams, you see the difference.
Definitely.
When you are willing to go the extra mile and to make the difference, being understanding and hearing, and when you are immediately using lethal force. Imagine a world where all police officers were just doing that, going to the extreme from 0 to 100.
And that's part of the job as well. Now, they were mentioning, since we were talking behind the mic, that, it's all about communicating. We, as communicator, we have to match and understand different type of personality, which I bet happened with you guys. Sometimes I question myself what a woman called because of the kids were playing, but for her personality, maybe they were annoying. She was trying to sleep. Maybe she's going through a hard situation, and she's like, I don't want to hear anyone outside my house. So it's trying to understand the personality of the person more than trying to find the meaning, like why you're doing this at the moment.
That is awesome. What? Yes.
Sorry, can I just I was going to say too, and this is back to that, we have a one community initiative. So it's just saying, like, what if that person, they may have been stressed with noise and that kind of thing, but if they have the ability to communicate, maybe with the parents, these are children, but saying, hey, conflict resolution, that's what we're seeing is a big issue, whether it's gun violence or anything. It's just an issue. People don't know how to talk to each other. So if that person was having that issue, maybe they didn't have to call the police. Maybe they didn't feel comfortable. Of course, we're never going to say don't call the police, but could that have been solved differently if someone would have just said, oh, let me talk to their parents, like, hey, your kids are playing in my yard, whatever it was. So that's just something, too, that it's not just law enforcement. We want everyone involved in this, and that's why we're here today. We want to have community partnerships, and that's what we stress.
Definitely, and we always share that. That's very important when you mention, whenever you have a problem, try to think about the solution.
Right.
What can solve this problem? Not just about the problem. The problem is going to be a problem until you find a solution. So always try to think a little bit on both sides.
Exactly.
That is awesome. And what Lieutenant Lisa Scott mentioned, that they are here to create community partnership, para colaborar con la comunidad, para estar ahí para la comunidad, to be there for you, and that's super important. Sometimes, before we even started this project of having you guys here, I guess it was a very different, perception from the side of our Latin community about, how you guys do it and why you do it, and every single department. We've been having multiple departments here so far, and it's the first time that we actually talk about negotiating, and I just found it incredible. It's a very, very interesting and important, because you're negotiating lives, as we were talking, lives. So far, we've been, it is greatness, it's being awesome, the negotiating process. But the hardest part when you are negotiating, if Officer Sarah want to talk about that, what is the hardest part of negotiating?
Probably staying calm and just remembering why you're there, and understanding at the end if it doesn't work out how you wanted it to, but understanding that you gave it everything that you had to give, and just knowing when you walk away that you gave every opportunity, every resource, every emotion that you had to give to it, and then just being okay with the job that you've done.
And I like that, like, remember to stay calm and why you are there. Is there a way to actually do that? Is there a technique, a training, that anything that you need to think about, you need to tell yourself?
Breathing.
You can, like, there's ways to slow your breathing down if you're starting to feel yourself get nervous. But I think a big part is in the trainings that we have, we train to such a high level that it almost feels like when we go out to do the negotiations that we're just so prepared, because we've already been in such tough scenarios while training.
Can you share some of that training, or is that something that is not legal to share?
Well, I'll just say this. I think the big part that I would add to that is it's the team. like we have a really good team and everybody plays a different role on the team in the moment of that negotiation. So like my job would be to, you know, be her second if she's the one negotiating with somebody. And so my job is to kind of filter out any other noise and so that she's not distracted. And then we have a coach. The coach is kind of like, you know, if he sees us kind of getting to another point, the coach will bring us back down, you know. And then we have the commander. All right. She gives us, hey, this is the overall goal, you know. So we're all playing a role to keep each other in that zone of what we need to be doing in those positions. And so we practice and we train in those roles and in various roles so that no matter if we come out, we can all step into it.
Well, yeah.
I was going to say, I think the big thing, like she said, is we're always there for each other. Like, our team is very close-knit, and so we're always checking in with each other. We're always making sure that no matter what happened on the call, that we as a team are okay.
Awesome.
And I'm going to add to that, that's one of the things, especially how everything is right now in America with police departments, having communication and teamwork is what makes a team department be successful. Because what could happen to one person could happen to all of us. And if I don't have the support from my team, of course, none of us is going to do the right thing, you know what I mean? So it's wonderful that you brought it up. That's what I see in Gainesville Police Department, that we have been to so many events and you see all of them as a teamwork. It's not about, oh, that's not my job. Oh, I shouldn't be doing that. You know, it's more about the teamwork itself.
Awesome. How can you recover from a very intense, overwhelming negotiation? I will say now that I assume that we cannot talk about the training, all of that. We're not going to get into that. But let's. How can you recover that? How can you recuperate faster so you can get back to work?
So, if the training, not the training, but if the negotiation was really tough and hard on us, like she said, we do a lot of team building skills and supporting each other outside of the negotiation team. We hang out outside of, you know, work so that we can really be there for each other. But the police department as a whole, you know, everybody expects for law enforcement to be like tough. And, you know, we have these type A personalities and, that doesn't bother us. But truth is, you know, we relive some of the trauma, you know, from things that we respond to. And so not being able to help somebody or the negotiation doesn't go, you know, the way we want it to go. We have things like our CISM team set up, which is our critical incident stress management team. And so that's just kind of peer support. But then we also know that we can go through our EAP services to, you know, for us to talk to other counselors or wherever. It's just kind of get that mindset back, like, man, you know, I did the right thing. But I think for most of it is the relationships already. Like, you know, we'll go have lunch together. You know, we break bread together and just really we hold each other up.
And of course, always keeping kind of like your position, but as you say, it's not always tough. You know what I mean? To connect with others, you don't have to show up that tough. And sometimes the community, when they hear police, they get scared. And the police is here to protect, not to get you scared. But actually, for them not to feel that way, you have to be that. You have to be approachable. You have to smile. Sometimes you see police officers and they don't even have a smile. How do I approach you if already by your body language you are, you know, rejecting me? So that's very interesting.
I think a big part too is in the recovery is we know each other well enough that if we see one of us going through it and trying to process through what happened, allowing them to step aside and somebody else coming in. And so even if it's just like a call on the road, we'll say like, hey, step off the line, go take a break to yourself, get yourself back together, and then when you're ready, you can come. If not, you know, go to the station, take your gear off, be a human again, and then kind of get your mindset back. And I think not only just as our team, but as an agency itself, we've done a great job in coming in and stepping in so that somebody who's in their tunnel vision of the incident can take a step back and get back to who they like need to be. Awesome.
Anything else that you guys think that we are missing about this topic, negotiation?
No, I think we've covered it all.
We're good to go. All right. Well, we want to thank you guys for being here. Let me see. We have some. We have Son, okay, no, people just thanking you guys for being here, and we're really excited. There is no like question, it's just texting. Hey, glad to hear you, BD, all of that. All right, thank you guys once again. We had with us today Officer Sarah Reeves.
Yes.
Reeves, awesome. We had Lieutenant Scott, Lisa Scott, and we also have Lieutenant MJ. Yeah.
Thank you, ladies, and thank you for the work that you guys do.
Absolutely. Day and night, you guys are the first line. I really appreciate you. I mean, without you guys, I mean, we couldn't have the wonderful community and the safe community that we have, even though it might not be perfect, because there is no perfect place. But Gainesville is a wonderful place to live, for sure. Yes. And you know, one of the reasons is because of the work that you guys do every single day. So our gratitude to you guys and Chief Scott, that they are amazing. So we are expecting you guys to be back in 2 weeks. You know, remember, community, every other Thursday we are talking topics here. We are Gainesville Police Department that you don't wanna miss. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day.